Another play it, sim it, forget about it type of game for the Avalanche. 4-2 is the final over their division rival, the Nashville Predators. Yes, the Preds get a goal late in this one from our old friend Tyson Jost to make it a two-goal affair, but it was 4-1 late after a Valeri Nichushkin empty net goal. He is a couple of chicklets lighter this evening, doesn't get the benefit of a penalty or much less a double minor. We'll get into that momentarily as we start between the pipes here on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 and worldwide on our Twitter, our Twitch, and our YouTube channels. Alex Ryan alongside Mark Springer, the radio machine. We're going to do a quick one for you guys tonight because I am due to be woken up in about 3 hours from right now to get on a plane from Baltimore back to Denver to watch the Broncos take on the Green Bay Packers. Spring, this is how last week against the Predators should have gone.
Well, guess what? Gavin Brindley played in this game. And when Gavin Brindley plays, the Avs are unstoppable. Gavin Brindley playing on the first line tonight with Nathan McKinnon and Arturi Lehkonen. But you look at the time on ice in 15 and a half minutes for Brindley. He did have 4 shots on goal, didn't have a point, was a +1 tonight. Marty Necas down really, I suppose, on that third line, but he still gets power play 1 time. Brindley got power play 1 time tonight as well. Thought that was interesting. But speaking of the word interesting, you're paying Gavin Brindley under $1 million. You just paid Marty Necas $11.5 million per, and you have put Gavin Brindley on your top line, and Necas is on your third line. Granted, Gavin deserves it. He's a good player, but that's not how money talks. I'll say that.
No, it certainly isn't. If you look back at Gavin Brindley's career, though, he has always been a high performer in terms of points. It's funny. The only season that he didn't put up big points in recent years was his 17 points joining the Cleveland Monsters in the AHL last season in 52 games. Prior to that, as a University of Michigan Wolverine in just his second year on the team, he put up 53 points in 40 games, and that is a ton of points at the Division I level at NCAA. Prior to that, as a freshman, he was nearly a point per game player at Michigan. He came off of being a 42-point player in 51 games with the Tri-City Storm as a 16-year-old. Like, he puts up points. So, you know what this is for Jared Bednar? It's, hey, Marty, don't get comfy. You want to play with Nate? You better be a Mikko Rantanen 100 point plus player, or we're going to put the kid who makes $875,000 on the line in front of you, because not only will he go after pucks and hunt them, he'll produce.
Yeah, Necas is a streaky player, and it's been a tick of a downturn. He still played well. He scored goals of late,
Yes,
but
without a
it
doubt.
hasn't been as blazing hot as it was for the first month of the season. Hey, it's depth, it's trust in this young kid, and no matter where anyone is playing, you're still going to get decent ice time because it's a pretty fluid rotation. Sans for McKinnon's always going to get a lean. McKinnon will go out there with anybody pretty much, and McKinnon gets the opening goal tonight, and just more production, a goal and an assist for Nate tonight as he assisted on Val's empty netter as he continues his Hart campaign and also his Rocket Richard campaign. Val Nichushkin, 8 shots on goal. That's a hefty number for him as he gets rewarded with the empty net goal. Gabe Landeskog nearly scored 1. Gabe had 3 shots on goal, was a +1 tonight, played 18 minutes. This was you lose in Nashville. You got a chip on your shoulder. Nashville had won 6 of 8, now 6 of 9. Nice. You weren't going to lose this one. You were not going to let that same team come in here on a Saturday night and beat you. And it was pretty controlled start to finish. I will say this. Hey, look, the juice was loose tonight. The juice was loose. Eustace, 41 shots on Eustace Onanen
Driving
tonight.
a white Ford Bronco.
Saved 38. A 927 save percentage for Eustace Onanen, who it appears has had a good start here and there for Nashville. But then on the other side, it's Scott Wedgwood, who, after getting the rust knocked off in his first game back, um, since the back injury, the loss in Nashville, now he comes here tonight, and Wedgie was great. Scott Wedgwood had excellent saves all night. The
Yes.
blocker was on fire. Eustace played well, but Wedgwood, even though Eustace made more saves, I thought Wedgwood played very well.
I thought he was just as good as Mackenzie Blackwood was the other evening. So when I went, hey, I think Mackenzie Blackwood is going to start to play 2 or 3 out of the next 4. Scott Wedgwood knows that Canada is calling right now. And that is such a motivating factor because a guy like him, it the best goalies in the world and the best goalies in Canada may get 1 or 2 or 3 chances to represent Hockey Canada at an Olympic event or at a major international event. Scott Wedgwood doesn't even fall into that category. So for his name to be mentioned alongside the best of his country, this is his one chance. And he doesn't strike me as the type of goaltender that is going to let his play falter going into that spot, right? He has stepped up to the mantle in Colorado when Mackenzie Blackwood has been injured ever since. He's statistically the best goaltender in Avalanche history. I need you to let that sink in. Like through his first however many games he's played up to this point, I'll take a quick peek at it. He is statistically better than Patrick Waugh. I'm not saying he's Patrick Waugh. That would be a dumb thing for me to say, but he has been so hot and such a good fit and has stepped up to the mantle every single time for this team. Just because Mackenzie's coming back and playing well and Scott's dealing with a little bit of a back tightness issue, this dude's a gamer, man. Like, I, you know what it's making me think? Is Ilya Nabokov ever going to play in Colorado?
I have viewed him as a more of a trade piece, even last season. Now granted, it seems like he's dipped a little bit in terms of his performances. Whether it was with the Eagles or now in the KHL. They don't. You just extended Wedgwood. Now we'll see what happens. It was just a 1-year extension. But as far as Blackwood and Wedgwood go, as far as the woodshed goes, I mean, it's every other game. It's so clear. It's every other game. That's just what you do.
Listen to
Hell, I'm
Colorado
at the point, dude, where I'd
Springer.
every other game in the playoffs. Fuck it.
At this point, I can't poke a hole in that argument. I can't.
I haven't even breached that thought. That thought literally just crossed my head. That's how good this back and forth has been. Just do something that's never been done. Just back and forth it in the playoffs at this point.
Tat on Twitter says, but Wedgie wants to start. If Wedgie wanted to start, he would not have signed that deal. If Scott Wedgwood was like, I want to be the number 1 for the next 3, 4, 5 years at a team before I retire and make my big money, he would have never signed that extension. He would have played the remainder of this season on an excellent hockey team and would have signed with Edmonton, Pittsburgh, Toronto. Name a team that needs a goalie. He would have signed with that team. He would have been the remember the Jonathan Beniers contract? He would have been that contract with the LA Kings. He would have been that guy. I don't think he has these grandiose visions of I'm the starter. I think he goes, I'm in a wonderful spot. I love my teammates. I can win cups here, and I'm not looked at as a piss on. I'm not looked at as a type of guy that is just, oh, you're the B. You're the C. You're the D. Mackenzie and Scott freaking love each other. And those two goaltenders in that room are such a fit. If he was the guy who was after a number 1 job, he wouldn't have extended, dude. He simply won. Listen to his numbers, Spring. Through his first 39 games with the Avalanche, he is 26, 5, and 5. He has a 918 save percentage, a 206 goals against average, and 25 out of a possible 38 quality starts. Those are unheard of numbers.
Yeah, I like how you mentioned Edmonton and Pittsburgh as a couple teams who need goaltending and they do. When they both just made this awesome trade. What a great trade they just
I'm the
made.
Edmonton Oilers. I have Connor McDavid taking less money. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to trade a shitty goalie for another shitty goalie.
I saw somebody tweet, the Oilers add a goaltender. Oilers still need goaltending.
It's the Spider-Man meme.
That's okay. Scott, we had Scott Wedgwood on with Nate and Andy several weeks ago now, and after he signed his 1-year extension, and he said, like, well, I don't know how many, starting jobs there would have been available this offseason. No, dude, no. Half the league needs goaltending. Half the damn league needs a good goaltender. Like the Red Wings, they're going with John Gibson. We liked. He's not what he once was. You could throw so many teams. Bobrovsky's getting older. So many teams in this league need goaltending. He could have done it. He left money on the table. Gavin Brindley, it feels like, left some money on the table. But guess what? They like playing here. They like being on this team. It's kind of a breath of fresh air. Yeah, every other night with these guys. Every other night. It was just look, hey, Tyson Jost scores that late goal. You want to know what crossed my mind? I know that Tyson Jost spent 4 minutes in the box tonight. I don't know. I kind of like how he looks out there. If you need a fourth liner, if you're just like in the market for something that costs nothing, I'd trade for Tyson Jost. I'd bring him back. Probably won't happen. But
yeah,
like, if you need a fourth liner,
why not?
You need a fourth liner?
I've always enjoyed him. Did he ever live up to the billing as a number 10 overall pick, Spring? No.
No.
He didn't. There were
Not even close.
people in terms of his snapshot, and he was sensational at North Dakota. Like, I'm not gonna mince that. He was very good. I think he was a Fighting Sioux back then. Maybe he was a Fighting Hawk. I don't know when the logo and the name changed. I'm gonna say he was a Fighting Sioux. When he was part of the Fighting Sioux, he put up big time numbers at at the D1 level. And the hope was, you have found the next sniper. You found the next 2C in Colorado. You didn't. And a lot of those players selected 10 through 32, many of them don't really even pan out past their first contract in the league. Tyson Jost has turned into a decent career. I know he's only been a third and a fourth liner and he's bounced around a bunch of teams, but like, he's still here.
You see players like that who, okay, you didn't pan out as that top 6 guy, but then you turned into a scrappy bottom 6 guy. I kind of liked his game tonight, actually. Like, he was noticeable. He's got some size to him. And what's going on with Logan O'Connor?
Does it love Coach Bednar's.
Like this is a pseudo Gabe Landeskog situation with Logan O'Connor?
I mean, you know what my mind is going to right now? Because we all thought he was supposed to be back around Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
The original thought was after Thanksgiving, sometime in December. And then we got some really good positive reports about a month and a half ago. And I changed my mindset to this guy's coming back just after Thanksgiving. And then
there was a report that he was going to come back in early November
on the road trip.
Yeah. But the original timeline was around Thanksgiving.
Yep.
So, okay, maybe that was a red herring. Thanksgiving, late November comes around. We're mid-December now, and now we're getting like news that is somewhat daunting on him.
Yeah, Bedsy Bedsy doesn't know how to dance around this right now, and you could hear that in his remarks a couple of days ago with the media. It's it's concerning. Hips are always an issue in this league. I don't know if it's a labrum, right? It was supposed to be resurfacing. I worry that something's going on with his labrum. Maybe it's just discomfort with the resurfacing. Uh, I suppose with how good this team is rolling right now, you wait until after the Olympic break, dude. Right? Like if he's still feeling setbacks and isn't ready, I'm cool with waiting until March to see how he's doing. I just don't know what's going on. I really don't. The team is concerned about it. Um, it's nerve wracking, but they still and Bittersweet's like, oh, it's not the hip. You don't know. Like he went out with a hip surgery this year. If he's not back, it's because of the fucking hip.
I mean, that would be the baseline guess. So yeah, like you said though, I mean, they're so deep. They're healthy. They're entirely healthy right now, except for OC. And so, the guy who's in that wouldn't otherwise be in is Yoel Kiviranta. And look, Kiviranta's a good player. I've always enjoyed him. I think he's a good fourth liner. But they're so deep right now. Like, for example, Sam Girard, 2 assists tonight. Like, he's been the defenseman that hadn't been playing well. And then we called him out and he's had back-to-back straight games. So thank you for listening to Between the Pipes, Sam Girard. We appreciate you because we motivated him. No doubt. He said, fuck you, Spring and Raj. I heard what you said, and he's had back-to-back good games now and 2 assists for Sammy tonight. And, one of them was a little lucky off of
one of them when the second assist was chintzy. The first one was solid. The second assist was very.
But
chintzy.
You're still moving that puck. And then Victor Olofsson finally got off the schneid. He's a real schneid player, that Victor Olofsson. He will, man, he's like Natchez on steroids in terms of streakiness, is Victor Olofsson. But you get that space in the slot, and on a delayed penalty with an extra attacker on the ice, Olofsson scores. And that was the game-winning goal. Girard gets the assist. They're so deep that I don't know what you need to add. So if you don't have the strong bottom 6 player and a Logan O'Connor, then okay, I'm looking at like a bottom 6 forward if you don't love Kiviranta. And I'll throw Tyson Jost's name out there, which is nothing crazy, nothing sexy. Wouldn't cost them damn near anything. Keeps your asset pool alive as they are still firmly in a window where they want to hold on to as many assets as possible unless you absolutely have to move something. They're just so deep right now. I don't even know what they need to add.
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, it is a don't upset the apple cart thing. Like if they continue to win at this pace and they go into the postseason like Boston did those years ago. Now, did Boston make moves 2 seasons ago when they set those records? Did they make deadline moves? Was that the year that they brought like Elias Lindholm in over the deadline? I'm
Could have been
almost
the year
positive.
after, but it might have been.
I'm within a year. I'm trying to figure out whether or not Boston made some big time moves that season. Um, and if they did, my rebuttal will be, why do you need to make moves, right? Like if Boston made those moves and they lost in the first round, you could make the argument against, well, you had the perfect group and you screwed up the perfect group. I'm almost positive that was the year that they made the Lindholm trade.
Yeah, I mean, and there's no player that's coming out of the lineup right now except for a Kiviranta or maybe Olofsson. They love Parker Kelly. Parker Kelly's playing on the fourth line. I can't look.
I'm not taking Parker Kelly out.
No.
Are you
So
kidding
I
me?
can't see anybody else because those would be the 3, and they're not taking Parker Kelly out. Kiviranta, they could. Olofsson is streaky, but he has that upside. They're not taking anybody out except for maybe Kiviranta.
I'm trying to find if they made any transactions. I'm looking through their
They like all these dudes. Jared Bednar loves these dudes. Thought Devon Taves played well tonight. 5 block shots. Took a puck in the face. You mentioned we did Nichushkin, the follow in the chat pointed out. Yes, it was a follow through. It's a follow through on Valeri Nichushkin. Therefore, no penalty. Didn't need it. Power play. Look, they score in a 4-on-4. They had a power play. Near the end of it, they get called for a penalty. Goes to 4-on-4. They score. Avs are better 4-on-4 than they are 5-on-4, if you can believe it.
The Bruins made two big time trades.
What were
sorry,
they?
we will go back to the 4-on-4 and 5-on-4.
I was killing time for you.
I appreciate you. You could see that my eyes were very much in the corner of the screen trying to figure this out.
I saw that.
On February 23, the Bruins traded a 2023 fifth round pick to Minnesota for Dmitry Orlov,
Okay.
which is a middle of the road
Mid-level
type of transaction. Move. Here's the two big ones. They traded a second, a third, and a first round pick, as well as forward Craig Smith to the Washington Capitals in exchange for Garnett Hathaway.
Ooh. Whoa. They gave up that for Garnett Hathaway?
That's who they say they acquired. Did they move him for Craig Smith as a result? Or did they retain Hathaway for the rest of that season?
I couldn't tell you. I know that Garnett, because the Avs just played the Flyers. Garnett Hathaway had played the most minutes in the NHL without scoring.
Hathaway played 25 games for them that year, and they lost in the first round to Florida.
Okay. Wow. So they gave that up for Garnett Hathaway?
Yep. So this is the season. This is the season that Boston set the record for points. That was essentially the trade deadline, right? Like late February.
No wonder Washington has kind of gotten it together.
Right. We can call that a trade deadline move, right? 2 weeks before the trade deadline.
Yeah,
Are we comfortable with that?
For sure.
Okay, so they traded a first, a second, and a third, as well as a current NHL player. Like Craig Smith, you know who Craig Smith would be great? He'd be a great fourth liner for the Avs 2 years ago. So they moved all of those pieces for 25 games of Garnett Hathaway, which was crap. They grabbed Keith Kincaid, or rather Shane Bowers for Keith Kincaid. Solid trade for them. Shane Bowers has done more than Keith Kincaid has. That was the trade with the Avalanche. And then here's the other one. They trade a 2024 first-round pick and a 2025 fourth-round pick for Tyler Bertuzzi.
I know Tyler Bertuzzi's a little fuck, but he's a decent little player. He's kind of fallen off, though. Yeah, man, yeeks. No wonder they didn't win a cup.
So in that season, Boston got 21 games of Bertuzzi in the regular season. They got 4 goals, 12 points, 4 goals, 12 assists, 16 points in 21 games in 7 games in that first round for Boston. He actually had a stellar first round series. He had 5 goals, 5 assists, and 10 points. That said, it feels as though they upset the cart. Especially with the Garnett Hathaway trade.
None of those guys were necessary. And that's kind of what I'm saying with the Avs. You don't need to force something here. That's how good and loaded they are. They made the moves that they made prior to last trade deadline and then signing Olofsson. What else did they do in the offseason? I mean, bringing in Brindley for Coyle. Those are it doesn't always have to be, oh, you're a contender. Oh, we have to make moves before the deadline. There can be a process that was in action a year ago that has all led to this. That's where they're at right now. They're solidified right now. And how about this, Raj? How about this? The Dallas Stars. Remember who the Avs played last? The shit-ass Panthers.
Springer on Friday on my show with Coach Sanford. We do a little segment in the last 2 minutes of the show called Poppin' Tops, and it is what we are popping the tops off of our beers to watch on the weekend. And I went, you know what I'm popping my tops to? I'm going to watch a Dallas Stars hockey game tonight. And I hate watched a Dallas Stars hockey game at the bar this evening here in Baltimore, Maryland. And I went, the Avalanche beat the living crap out of the back-to-back defending Stanley Cup champions. And you know who doesn't lay an egg the next day after they get the living shit beaten out of them? The back-to-back Stanley Cup
That's
champions
true.
Oilers. I
They
don't
might not
care
be the
who is
same team,
hurt.
but there's metal to them.
No doubt. And I went, I am going to pop my top and hate watch a Dallas Stars loss to Florida. And you know what happens tonight? A 4-0 shutout.
Yep, at home in Dallas. And there you go. I promised you, everybody, I promised you that at some point Florida was going to drop a game that they shouldn't have. And really, you shouldn't drop this one. Yes, Florida's the back-to-back champs, and they're still, like, you look who scored for them tonight. It's a lot of guys who have been scoring for them. Lundell, Bennett, Marchand twice, one of them an empty netter. You don't even score at home
Hell
against
yeah.
and the Avs that's a 4-point swing tonight. That's a 4-point swing, and this was going to happen eventually. Dallas had not dropped one that they really shouldn't have, and it happened on a night where Colorado got one that they should have because they dropped one in Nashville that maybe they shouldn't have. So it all comes full circle. It all evens out, progresses, regresses to the mean. Just give it time. And tonight was that night.
And now, just like that, you are 3 wins up on Dallas with a game in hand. Does that feel, what's fun? This is the first time this season. I'm going to do a Scott Hastings thing here. This is the first time this season that I feel comfortable about the standings. The first time this year that I look at the Western Conference standings and I go, oh, there's some distance between you and Dallas. It's 6 points with a game in hand. I haven't felt like that the whole year, dude. It feels like Dallas has been breathing down your neck the entire season, despite you having a historic start. And now 32 games into the year, I go, oh, it's not breathing room, but it feels like your work is now paying dividends.
And so next up for Colorado is Seattle in Seattle on Tuesday. And Seattle's mid. Like, they're solid. They could beat you, but they're mid. You host Winnipeg, and Winnipeg
Future
is
Av Jamie Alexiak's on that team.
I get it. Alexiak still could be that guy. That's still a thing. That's still a thing. When we talk about potential needs, big left-handed D. Is
Big
Jamie
left-handed,
Alexiak.
expiring contract, cheap contract defenseman.
Well, we'll get a great firsthand look at him on Tuesday nights in a very winnable game. And then you host Winnipeg without Connor Hellebuck. And then that's probably, you want to know why that's probably win-win? Why this is probably going to be a 4-game win streak by the end of the week is because you're in Minnesota on Sunday. And we are going to get our first look at the new shit. That new car smell. And this is going to be a thing. It's fun. It's good. How about it's great for the league.
It's great for hockey.
It's great for hockey. That I know it sucks that these are all in the same division, but it's better for the league that they're all in the same division because it creates this 3-headed monster of rivalries and elite play with Rantanen in Dallas and now Quinn Hughes in Minnesota. And both those teams, there's a lot of good talent around those two players. The rivalries write themselves. It's tremendous for the league. And the great news is that both those teams are really, really, really good, but Colorado's better.
And those two teams are going to have to beat the living crap out of each other in the first round.
Vinny says Hellebuck's back. Is Hellebuck back?
Okay, well, that's good. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Winnipeg could be the number 1 wild card seed in this playoff, and you still don't have to see him because Colorado is going to play Seattle or Chicago or San Jose, one of those teams in 8. It's not going to be Winnipeg. Winnipeg will be the 7 seed if you go 1 through 8. Minnesota, what a trade, dude. So we haven't talked about this trade quite yet.
Mhm.
I applaud Vancouver for making it now. I applaud Vancouver for going out and getting two bona fide current NHL budding stars. I applaud them for getting a first round draft pick and a prospect. It guarantees that they get value back on a guy who did not want to play in Vancouver and who likely wants to play in New Jersey. The most likely final play of this scenario is that Jack Hughes, Quinn Hughes leaves Vancouver to go play for his brother Jack and alongside his brother Luke in New Jersey. And Colorado fans get to laugh to the bank.
Well, you mean when the Wild don't re-sign him?
When the Wild don't re-sign him, not this offseason,
Sure.
but next offseason,
Because they just gave $17.5 million
dollars
to Kirill Kaprizov.
Right. You can't afford.
You can't afford him.
You can't, Quinn Hughes is a $15 million defenseman. He is. He's the second best defenseman in the world.
Yes, he is.
And he is not Cale Makar. Now, he's undersized, but he is. You can't name three better skaters in the National Hockey League than Quinn Hughes. He is sensational. He moves the puck. The way he dances the blue line is like a freaking Russian ballet, dude. He's amazing. And I can't wait to watch him rock the red, white, and blue in Italy in February. But Minnesota making this deal, while their back end is fun, it is Faber.
Yeah, Brock Faber's a really good player.
Faber's sick too. It's Faber and Hughes. It's Bogosian and Spurgeon. It's Jiricek and it's Kierstad. I know they've got a couple of injuries on the back end. Like Middleton would actually be that guy, but he's on the IR right now. So they've got some decent guys on the back end and some elite players, right? Like Faber's elite, Hughes is elite. Have you looked at their center depth, dude? The center, that's where Minnesota goes to die.
Mm-hmm. But they do have the goaltending. That's why they are feeling this sense of, and locking up Kaprizov is a sense of urgency. When you pay that dude what they paid him, there's already a sense of urgency of you got to try to do this thing. But then having Jesper Wallstedt and Philip Gustafsson, for that matter, as well, they're like, okay, yes, Colorado and Dallas exist, but you know what? Like, we are also in a window, and we got to go right now. There's been a lot of talk of was it a good haul or a bad haul? I've seen both sides. I've seen some people say it wasn't enough. Like, oh, man, Vancouver only got that for a guy that people say is just as good. Now, they're lying if they say that he's just as good as Cale Makar, but he's number two. We will concede that. And then there's other people who are, and I'm actually in this camp. I thought it was a good haul. Now, I will admit, if that was the haul for Cale, I would kind of like, if it was Cale, I would want 21st. I would want your top 10 prospects. You know what I'm saying?
I want 3 firsts. I want 2 current players that
I
are
want
as good as
21st.
Bouillon and Marco Rossi. And I want an A prospect. I would take 3 firsts, 2 current NHL legit players / budding stars, and A or A+ prospect for Cale Makar.
Look, Zeev Bouillon is a really good prospect.
Dude, he's so good.
He looks like he's got some juice to him.
When Minnesota was able to draft him and he fell all the way to Mini in the draft last year, I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, that's
Not
a steal.
only do they have Brock Faber and like Spurgeon's legit, but he's aging.
He's getting older.
I
He's
looked
had
at them
injuries.
and I went, holy crap, Bill Guerin knocked this thing out of the park.
Yeah, that's a lucky, like, thank you for falling to me type thing.
Yes. He ends up being able to parlay that into trading for one of the best 2 defensemen in the world right now. But if I'm Vancouver,
I think it's a good haul.
None of that was working. I think it's a very solid trade.
Yeah, and they're the worst team in the league, and he was going to leave. I think it was a good haul. I don't think he could have done better. I think that's part of the reason that they traded him in the conference. It's not in the division. It is in conference. It was the best. It was the best offer. It was the best deal. It's a pretty good deal. Marco Rossi is a pretty good young player. I'm not overly familiar with the other player, but he was a mid to late first round pick a few years ago and a first. So, okay. And Zeev's really good. So that's a good haul. I'm in the camp of that was a good haul. Some say it wasn't. I think it was.
It's a great haul. And I see the comment like I'd put Warensky above Hughes. That's it. It's an
No,
accurate
I
comment.
wouldn't. Zach Werenski's playing well and has always played well, but
The
Quinn's
league
better.
goes like this. The league goes Cale Makar,
Yes.
Quinn Hughes,
Yes.
everybody fucking else. Like it
That's exactly what it
ask
is.
any hockey player in the National Hockey League right now, and they will echo exactly what I just said. Cale Makar, Gap, Quinn Hughes, the goddamn Grand Canyon, and then everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's what it is. There's a lot of good, like Heiskanen. None of them have really like kind of taken that ball.
Yep.
I'm a Lane
Yep.
Hudson guy. He hasn't taken the ball. Matthew Schaefer is 18. You know, he's showing some rookie.
Schaefer's getting there. Schaefer's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, he's great,
Schaefer's
but
awesome.
he's not. He was on a heater, and he feels like he's cooled off a little bit.
Like he's
an 18-year-old rookie.
You know who's diminishing like so quickly before our eyes is Victor Hedman. Like I've started to watch a lot more Tampa, and Tampa's playing well, but like I see Victor Hedman's legs going before me, and I feel so bad because he is so good, and Victor Hedman is the delightful story of top tier elite prospect, can't miss, and it took him a couple of years to figure out the league, to come over from Europe, come over from Sweden, and figure out how fast the National Hockey League is, how good of a skater, you have to be in this league to become an elite defenseman. Now, it's not the same as it was in the 90s, not the same it was in the 80s. You have to be an elite skater to be an elite defenseman in this league. And Victor Hedman had to learn the speed of the league for almost 3 full seasons. And then he became what is a bona fide Hall of Fame defenseman. And unfortunately, those bigger D men, what do most of them do? They lose their legs later on in their career. And right now I'm watching Hedman lose his legs, and it makes me feel so sad because he's a player I love watching, man.
Yeah,
And
it's one of the reasons that Cale and Quinn are going to play a little longer, because there's not as much weight on them and they don't take as much punishment. When you have that size and you're using your body and you've taken, a beating, it goes quicker. Like as Zdeno Chara could be an exception. But yeah, Cale and Quinn are going to play for a long time because they do such a great job of they're so smart, especially Cale, because Cale's underrated with how he uses his body. Quinn, not so much. But they manage their contact. Marie in the chat says, what about Brent Burns? Hey, look, that's another, like I mentioned, Chara. Burns has done a great job. It's amazing. That's even more of a testament to a Brent Burns that he, at 40 years old, because he's bigger and he's nasty. You look, he's missing teeth. I mean, that dude, look at what happened to Eric Johnson, who's doing a great EJ had himself a night. He's on radio with Connor. He's doing the intermission with Keefe and Lyles. He goes and signs a young lady's jersey at an intermission. Eric Johnson is riding the elevator. He's everywhere in Ball Arena tonight. But guess what? Look what EJ's not 40. You look what happened to EJ's legs. And it's tough. Right,
you could see them go away. And what the greats do, I don't know if Eric Johnson is going to be a Hall of Famer. He's probably not. EJ's probably a Hall of Very Good guy. But alongside Burns and alongside Hedman, who are two without a doubt Hall of Famers, they were able to adjust their games late in their career. They were so good and so skilled. And also, and again, this is what size gives you the ability to. If your legs If your legs go in size, you can find a way to become a stay-at-home defenseman and take up space. Now, the little guys, the smaller dudes that the league is not I wouldn't say the league. The elite players that we think of from the defensive end are not 6'4", 225 pounds. They are 6 foot 205. They are 5'11", 190, kind of the Cale Makar type of build. Quinn is actually even bigger than a lot of people think he is. Um, if their legs go when they're in their mid to early 30s, I think you'll see their drop off be way, way heavier than the bigger dudes because they don't have the luxury of size to lean back on. Now, Eric Johnson started to fall off a cliff in terms of his skating, and Brent Burns has been able to stay available and called upon. Victor Hedman's the same way. And I think that's the difference between a Hall of Very Good and a Hall of Fame type of player.
Sure, sure. All right. You know what, man? I'm gonna cut it right there because how much sleep are you getting tonight? An hour?
It's 12:25 Eastern right now, and I'm going to be up in 3 hours and 25 minutes.
Okay. Good luck falling asleep.
Yeah.
Because I know for me, like you get a little bit of an energy rush after you do these shows.
Well, I could have talked for another 20 minutes.
I know. We were gonna do like we
15-minute
seriously
show.
talked before the
42
show. We were
minutes.
like, we're gonna do 15 minutes. We did 40. It's almost 42 minutes. We're gonna do 42 plus minutes, all said and done, because we love you guys and because we can't help our fucking selves because we love talking about this shit.
We really do.
So, if I know me, I can't fall asleep directly after one of these shows. So, go do your best. Go count some sheep, my friend.
All right, guys. Pray to the weather gods that the winter squall that is coming into the Baltimore harbor right now doesn't cancel my flight, so I can get home and I can get to the Broncos game at 2:25 on CBS. All right, that's gonna do it for us. Avs win again because they're so freaking good. They're such a good hockey team. For
Don't take it for granted. Last
don't
thought.
take it for granted.
Okay, John Cena had his final match tonight.
Whoa.
Fucking look, I watched his entire career. There was a moment where he got stale, okay? But at the end of the day, that man gave it his fucking all and had an amazing career, and now it's over. You cannot see me. Yes.
Cannot see me.
Don't take it for granted. Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar, Gabe Landeskog fighting 3 years to come back. We get to watch it just like we got to watch Cena's career, you know, and I know it's a different thing, but you don't take it for granted. This shit is fun as hell.
Later, people. Talk to you in a couple of days.
Peace.